Now turn to Part 1.
You will hear a telephone conversation between a customer and an overseas shipping agent. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 8. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good afternoon, Denham's Shipping. How can I be of service?
Well, I wish to inquire about sending a container of personal items from the UK to Ireland.
The customer wants to send his container to Ireland, so the country of destination is Ireland. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 8.
Good afternoon, Denham's Shipping. How can I be of service?
Well, I wish to inquire about sending a container of personal items from the UK to Ireland.
No problem. Would you like me to give you an estimate of the cost?
Yes, please.
Well, first of all, may I take your details?
Of course. My name's Tim Lafferty.
Could you spell your surname for me, please, Tim?
Yes, it's Lafferty. L-A-F-F-E-R-T-Y.
Thank you, Tim. Now, where would you like us to pick your container up from?
My university, if possible.
OK. Let me make a note of the address.
It's Abbeyfield University.
Is that Abbeyfield?
That's right. Park Street, Brighton.
Perfect. And may I take down your postcode too?
It's BR8 9P3.
Great. Thank you, Tim. Have you the container's measurements?
I do. It's approximately 2.5 metres long by 1.25 metres wide.
I see. Quite a big one then.
Indeed.
And the height?
I make it 1 metre and 20 centimetres deep.
So that's 2.5 by 1.25 by 1.2.
Right.
And what will actually be in the box, Tim?
Oh, mostly old uni books.
OK.
And some music albums.
Anything else?
Yes, a little bit of stationery.
I see. And could you put an estimate on the value of the items?
The books are quite valuable. They're worth around £1,800. The music albums, maybe half that, say £900. And you can put the stationery down as £300.
Before listening to the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 9 and 10. Now listen and answer questions 9 and 10.
OK. And will you be purchasing contents cover from us also?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Sorry, let me explain. Because your items are worth more than £2,000, we recommend that you purchase insurance to cover yourself in the event of damage or loss.
Makes sense. What are my options?
Well, we offer 3 insurance deals: the premium rate, standard rate, and economy rate ones. Premium offers full cover in the event of loss, damage or theft, which means you would be provided with the full cost of replacing your belongings.
What about standard and economy?
Standard will give you today's value, the second-hand value of your belongings, and economy provides you with a fixed payment of £1,000 in the event of loss, damage or theft.
Well, I can afford to live without those books, to be honest. So just give me the cheapest option.
We recommend standard cover for all our customers.
No, thank you. That won't be necessary. The cheapest option will be fine.
No problem. And one last thing, will you be needing delivery at your office, at your house, or do you intend to pick up your container at the port?
Home delivery would suit me best, I think.
We'll get that process for you.
That's the end of section 1. You have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 2.
You will hear a tour guide talking to her tour group. First, you will have time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Well, we certainly have a busy day ahead of us, so let's get started, shall we? You'll find a map of the museum with the itinerary I've just handed out. The museum's our first port of call, so let's have a look at the map now. The door on the right of the entrance hall leads into the gift shop and ticket centre. Once we pick up our entrance tickets, I'd ask everyone to deposit their bags and coats in the cloakroom, which is located towards the back of the gift shop and ticket centre. If you want to pick up an information leaflet, you can approach the information desk situated along the right-hand side. Now, once you come back into the entrance hall, the door on the opposite side to the gift shop leads into the art gallery. There is a special exhibition on there at the moment which is not to be missed. If you continue on up the entrance hallway, that leads into the main exhibition centre. At the back left-hand side, there are some toilets. Beside the toilets, you'll find the 3D theatre. I strongly recommend that you make time for the 30-minute presentation in the theatre. It is well worth a viewing. Running along the right-hand side of the main exhibition centre is the Modern Art Studio. Here, not only can you view some of the most famous works of the 20th century, but you can also sit in on a workshop run by a local artist. So, that's the Art Museum.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Next on the itinerary is the aquarium. Depending on how long we spend at the museum, we might have to give this one a miss. It's not what I'd call a highlight of the day, but it would be a shame if we didn't get to see it, as it's en route to the Solheim Country Club, where we're booked in for lunch at 1 o'clock. Originally, we had planned to stop off at the Milltown Winery afterwards, but we've had to scrap that plan. Otherwise, we'd never get to the Zoological Gardens before closing time. We have pre-booked the gardens and must be there by 2:30, so no dilly-dallying please after lunch. Straight back onto the bus. The gardens close at 3:30, so we've an hour there, which should give us ample time to look around. Time allowing, we'll stop off at the famous Stout Brewery after that, if traffic isn't too heavy, and we're in Lincoln before 5. If not, we'll head straight for the National Concert Hall, where you're in for a real treat of an evening, with a performance from the world-renowned cellist, Andrei Borovsky. We have to be in our seats by 6:30 sharp. After that, it's back to the hotel for the night, where a buffet meal will be waiting for us at 8:30, or whenever we get back.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 3.
You'll hear a discussion between 3 students and their lecturer. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
That's right. I started out working as a researcher in Kelheim Laboratories, though it's a long time ago now.
What was it like then? Starting out, I mean. That'll be us next year.
It largely depends on your work environment, really. My team in the biophysics department were not very understanding of how it feels to be a new guy, and were really quite hard on me. From day one, they expected me to pull my weight, and they reprimanded me for any mistakes I made. There was no time for me to find my feet and get comfortable.
That sounds awful.
Well, it was to begin with, and it certainly took a long time for me to gain their respect. But once I had done, the work environment became far more pleasant, and indeed we ended up making a great team.
How long did you stay there?
6 years.
You did a fair stint then?
Yes, well, you see, I was offered a promotion in my 5th year to assistant manager. Needless to say, I jumped at the chance. I had got to know the manager really well during my time there, though, and I knew, based on how quick he was to point out what you were doing wrong all the time, that it would be a challenge to have to work closely with him. But I've never been one not to accept a challenge.
So how did you and he get on?
Well, it didn't matter, as he was only there another 6 months. He took early retirement on account of a heart condition, and before you knew it, there I was, managing the entire operation.
Was that difficult for you?
Not at all. I was very fortunate to then be managing the same team as I had been part of for so long. They were at ease with me and the way I did things, so the department functioned really well for a time.
Only for a time?
Yes, until I got into a dispute with the directors. You see, being new to management, I'd never dealt with directors or the like before, and their expectations were just not very practical. They had their head in the clouds, if you ask me. Anyway, they expected me to get instant results in our lab work. Needless to say, I wasn't prepared to rush the delicate experiments we were conducting along too quickly. I stood my ground and made it clear that I had no wish to pressure my team, and that, in my eyes, they could have as much time as they liked to find out what they were looking for. This didn't go down too well with the directors, and they got rid of me.
You mean you were sacked?
In a manner of speaking. Well, they told me to leave of my own accord or I would be removed. I left.
And is that when you started to lecture?
Yes, and I've been doing it ever since. When I first arrived, Dr. Michael Stout was still a member of staff here.
You mean the programme director?
Well, he wasn't back then. I have Michael to thank for showing me the ropes. He was very considerate of the new faculty members and assisted me no end. And now, here I am, 20 years a lecturer. How time flies.
Well, sir, we're very glad to have you as ours, that's for sure.
Yeah, you make all the stuff sound so interesting, unlike some of them.
Couldn't agree more. Honestly, I almost fall asleep in the other classes.
Now, come on. I'm neither that good, nor are your other lecturers that bad.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
Right, now let's get down to business. We didn't meet for an idle chat. Tell me, John, how's the project coming along?
Well, we haven't been able to isolate the mutant gene yet, so to be honest, I'd say it's slow progress.
But you have at least identified the mutant gene, correct?
Yeah, but until we isolate it, testing cannot commence, so the whole project is on hold at the moment.
I think you're being a little too hard on yourselves. After all, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we not say a time frame of maybe 6 months just to identify the culprit?
Yes, but having done that so quickly in the space of a week, it's frustrating to have to wait now.
Patience is a skill you have yet to acquire, John.
I guess.
We have managed to establish that the gene mutation bypasses every other generation.
Intriguing. So the infection is not passed directly from parent to child?
No. If the parent is infected, the child will be a silent carrier who will go on to infect any children he or she has.
That's an important discovery.
Yes, and we've also found a way to switch off the mutant gene, we think.
Go on.
One of the volunteers we have been studying was a carrier 6 months ago, but the mutation is no longer in his DNA. Having studied his health records, it seems that he caught a strain of bird flu on a trip to Malaysia. He had a near-death experience, but has since made a full recovery.
Do you suspect the bird flu virus somehow has a curative effect?
We don't think it was the virus, but the accompanying fever. His body temperature was raised to 105. We have a hypothesis that the mutant gene couldn't cope with such an excessive internal body temperature.
Excellent work. So, by the sounds of it, a cure might not be too far away?
If we can isolate the gene, then we can begin further research to confirm our hypothesis.
Now I understand why you're so eager.
That's the end of section 3. You have half a minute to check your answers. Part 4. You will hear part of a lecture about the process of conducting a small-scale archaeological dig. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. It is encouraging to see so many students here after hours to attend what is an optional lecture. I am very heartened. Thank you all for coming. Today's lecture is about bringing what you have learnt to life, or at least showing you how to bring it to life, or put it into practice. If you are truly passionate about archaeology, you will not wait until your first official dig or field trip with the university to get started. Why? Because it is so easy to do one yourself. Every weekend, each and every one of you can be going out scouting the land for potential dig sites and conducting your own amateur digs to gain what would be priceless on-site experience, which will stand to you if and when you qualify. So, my goal for today is to show you what you need to do. And it is really quite simple. So, let's start with the obvious. First of all, you have to identify a suitable dig site. The best way to go about doing this is by surface collecting, or walking around an area looking for things out of the ordinary. Ideally, you'll look to find a midden, that is M-I-D-D-E-N, an archaic term for a refuse site. Remember, dumps are a feature of modern existence. But in the near and distant past, people would simply dig a random hole and designate it as the spot to throw rubbish in. And that's your midden. Alternatively, if your surface collecting doesn't yield many finds, consider asking the local people of the area what they know. Sites are often found by word of mouth. Or if that doesn't work, use the state files. Remember, they are normally only ever open to qualified archaeologists, so you, the students of UCD, are in a very privileged position indeed to be able to access them. Now, once you have found a site with some potential and collected some surface finds, it's time to evaluate what you have collected. The objective is to identify the area of your prospective dig site, which was the most densely populated, as this will yield the best results come dig time. Clean and categorise each surface artefact you find. Separate the modern trash, the unidentifiable items, the ceramics, the bone and shell tools, etc., and then begin the process of cleaning the finds you think are important. Use plain water, as washing detergents can damage delicate pieces and cause etchings and the like to vanish. A soft brush will remove encrusted mud from any crevices quite effectively too, so please avoid scratching or picking at finds for obvious reasons. Now, having done this groundwork, you should be in a position to pinpoint the area which is likely to produce the best results, and therefore ready to start your dig. Borrow equipment from the faculty here if you do not have the right tools at home. We are always happy to assist students who show an interest in conducting archaeological work in their free time. You will need a trowel, flat blade shovel, dust pans, assorted brushes, measuring tape, folding sticks, plastic bags in assorted sizes, markers, a clipboard, line level, string, stakes, gloves, and fluorescent survey tape. And most important of all, a screen. You can make a DIY box screen pretty handily. You'll need 4 planks of wood, cut to measure, either to fit together as a square or rectangular box. Make the box frame out of these using L brackets. Attach a 1/4 inch mesh frame to the base of the box using heavy-duty staples or nails. If you are going to sift by hand, then design your box to 2 foot by 4 foot dimensions. A, because it is easier to handle, and B, because it will fit neatly on your table. If you plan on fabricating a larger sifting device, then I would recommend a 6 foot by 4 foot screen. That's quite big enough. Now, with your tools in hand, it is time to start the dig proper. Firstly, you will need to dig a pit. I'd caution against the temptation to dig a very small one, say a 1x1. Why? Simply because you'll be getting in your own way as your dig progresses. A 2x3 or 3x4 should give you enough room to work in. Place a stake and an eye hook at each corner of the pit and pull some string or cord through each stake to keep the edges of the pit clearly defined. Let's break here for 5 minutes to...
That is the end of Part 4. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 4.